Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. President Buhari asks Nigerians to shun acts that could drag the country into another civil war as he launches Armed Forces emblem and swears in the new SGF. Former NSA gives conditions to testify in the trial of Olisamutu, says he cannot remember details of any dealings with the former PDP National Publicity Secretary in 2014. The House of Representatives Committee to summon CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele and NNPC Group Managing Director Mekanta Baru to appear before it over the status of the Treasury single account. And Liberia's Supreme Court holds presidential runoff election planned for next week over allegations of fraud. For more on our tough stories and others, please visit our websites, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on your mobile device. Log on to m.channelstv.com or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You'll also have the Eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. You did send in some pictures. Let's take a look at some of them, shall we? We begin with this picture of a bad road from Tikawa Jajere Road in Yobe State. Our Eyewitness reporter claims it is an unmotorable route and wants the government to come to their aid. Staying with bad roads is this image from Dairo Oluwalobun Anibaba in Ikosi area of Lagos State. Eyewitness reporter says the road has damaged several vehicles that ply it. Our final picture, which is also from Lagos State, shows a school where used tires have become classroom furniture. Eyewitness reporter says this school is located at Old Otta Road in Agbadoki, Odo, local council development area. She wants the appropriate authorities to look into it. Please keep those pictures coming. We do appreciate them here on Channels Television. A former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Diezani Alison Madueke, could not convince the Lagos Federal High Court on need for the court to compel the Attorney General of the Federation to bring her back to Nigeria to defend a criminal charge on alleged laundering. Justice Rilwan Aikawa, who dismissed the application for lack of merit, held that his court will not be used to frustrate the investigations against the former minister in the UK, where she has been living since leaving office. Channel Television's judiciary correspondent, Shola Shiele, has a report.
On the 3rd of October, former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Diezani Alison Madueke, had brought to the notice of the court an application she filed seeking to be joined as a defendant in the charge against the former Kwara State governorship candidate, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Dele Belgore, and his co-defendant, former Minister of National Planning, Professor Abubakar Sulaiman. In ruling on the application, Justice Rilwan Aikawa of the Federal High Court agreed with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, that the application is misconceived and amounts to a misuse of the court process. The judge also dismissed the request of the former minister, urging it to compel the Attorney General of the Federation to facilitate her return to Nigeria. The court held that having not been listed as a defendant in the charge, there is no offense yet being made against Mrs. Alison Madueke before his court. He particularly noted that the former petroleum minister did not deny the claims of the EFCC that she is currently on bail in the UK, where she is being investigated for several financial crimes, and a filing of the application was merely a ploy to escape justice there. The judge held that his court would not be used to achieve this aim. With the ruling out of the way, Justice Aikawa proceeded to hear the testimony of an investigative officer with the EFCC, Mr. Usman Zakari. The court dismissed the objections of the defense team and admitted as evidence a document tendered through the witness, which contained a list of names of certain people who allegedly benefited from the sum of $115 million allegedly doled out by Mrs. Alison Madueke to influence the outcome of the 2015 general elections. According to the witness, the two defendants who were also on the list received the sum of 450 million naira. The witness went on to narrate how the money was paid to the defendants. He testified that when confronted with evidence, the defendants during investigation admitted to the offense. Justice Aikawa has adjourned till November 13 and 14 for the defense team to cross-examine the witness. The judge also ruled on a request to travel and ordered the Deputy Chief Registrar of the court to release Mr. Belgore's international passport so he could attend a conference in Ghana. Shola Shoyeli, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, 9 federal civil servants will have to cool their heels in prison for some time until the Abuja High Court is able to determine their bail application in their trial for alleged payroll fraud. Justice Peter Kekemeke wants prison officials to keep the suspects in jail after they were arraigned today by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The suspects were members of staff of the Federal Ministries of Agriculture, Water Resources, and the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, have pleaded not guilty to the 16-count charge leveled against them by the Anti-Graft Commission. They are accused of defrauding the federal government through the operation of fictitious accounts between 2009 and 2015. The House of Representatives Committee probing the Treasury single account is to summon the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, and the Group Managing Director of the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, Mekanta Baru, to appear before it over the status of the Treasury single account. Members of the committee, which is to ascertain the proceeds of the Treasury single account, were upset at the absence of the 2 officials at a meeting convened by the committee. The committee says the 2 officials had failed to appear before them despite several letters inviting them to make clarifications on the matter.
CBN in all our sittings, this is the 4th sitting, in all our sitting, there has never been at any point that the CBN governor appeared. No, he deemed it important for him to send any of the DGs, that's the deputy governors, to represent him. And we have issues. The issues that we have concern the issue of monies that are still being held by some of the banks. Some of these monies are not even known, perhaps maybe by CBN, or they know it and they decide to perhaps maybe just show as if they are not aware. And some of these monies are not even known to the Office of the Accountant General, that they are still being held by the banks. And these banks are under the supervision of CBN. There are certain decisions that we need to take that concern these banks. And I think it is in the interest of the governor to be here so that we can look at these issues and take those decisions collectively in the interest of the country.
Electoral matters now. Ahead of Nigeria's 2019 general election, the United Nations Special Representative and head of the UN Office for West Africa, Mr. Mohammed Chambers, is asking the Independent National Electoral Commission to consolidate on the gains made in the 2015 elections and make the next general election better. The UN envoy, who visited the INEC chairman in Abuja, also wants the INEC chairman to ensure that the 2019 election is all-inclusive to accommodate people living with disabilities and those living in internally displaced persons camps. In his response, the chairman of INEC gave assurances of the Commission's preparedness to make the 2019 election better than the last one.
We know that you are already in a mode of preparing for elections in 2019, particularly presidential elections, for which you have already set a date. We would like, in this regard, also to encourage that you continue with your efforts to ensure wide participation through your registration of voters that you undertake, and to draw particular attention to IDPs who, unfortunately, due to a number of crises, are quite there in large numbers, so that they will also, as last time, we know the the efforts that were put in to ensure that IDPs were not disenfranchised, and in the same vein, persons of disability. So these two categories, we hope you will pay attention to.
I want to assure you that INEC will continue to consolidate our democracy, and we have risen so far to the challenges that are inevitable in conducting elections. And we are getting better by the kind of experience we have had. Our determination and our assurance to you, Your Excellency, is that the 2019 general elections is going to be better than our best election, which are the 2015 general elections.
Meanwhile, it's just 17 days to the governorship election in Anambra State, and Governor Willie Obiano has been going around all local government areas canvassing for support and telling the people why they should give him a second chance. His campaign train made a stop at the agrarian local government areas of Ayamelum and Oyi in Anambra North Senatorial Zone. Governor Obiano assures them of more developments in youth employment, agriculture and electricity supply. Hundreds of supporters of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, converge on the community primary school field, Anako, in Ayamelum local government area to receive Governor Willie Obiano. It's the re-election campaign of the governor, and party stalwarts, traditional rulers and other community members gather to declare their support. Amidst several accolades for the Obiano administration, lawmakers and the leadership of the party ask their constituents to support and sustain the good governance.
2017. Let us show Anambrarians that Ayamelum is an APGA local government. So this party has transformed this local government to its present strength. And all of them are solidly behind Willie Obiano for governor.
And then the man of the moment mounts the podium to explain why he needs the people's support.
My first 3 years, I was able to bring light to 4 of the 8 communities, and we're still moving. And I promised them 20 transformers, and that will be done in 2 weeks. The youths here are very busy and well engaged.
It's time to receive some defectors into the fold.
You are moving from darkness to light.
From Ayamelum to Oyi, a neighboring local government, the reception is overwhelming. The women take the center stage, also calling on the people to cast their ballots for the progressive governor.
You remembered us in Oyi, and you came to our rescue. You started building roads. And now, we have roads that we can ply, and the people are happy with you.
He has delivered results in the area of security, which has been said over and over again, in the area of health, education, fiscal sustainability, infrastructure.
Over 500 members of the Independent Democratic Party defected to APGA. The All Progressive Congress stormed Ihiala local government area of Anambra State to seek support for the party's governorship candidates in the forthcoming governorship election, Tony Envoy. The party is assuring the people that its candidates will bring more development to the state if given the chance to lead. At the All Saints Cathedral field in Onitsha, the Progressive People Alliance flagged off its campaign with the governorship candidates Godwin Ezimo, signing a social contract with the people to work for the entire well-being of all and sundry.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can see the support group for Dr. Tony Envoy, their youth support group.
Ihiala Central School, Ihiala in Anambra State, is a campaign venue of the All Progressives Congress. Brooms carrying men, women and youth are rooting for the candidate of the APC, Tony Envoy. there are also others who have defected from their own party to join the APC. They believe the party is the one to beat.
About 1,000 people were all declaring from Apoga to APC. The person and the candidate that is a living party and a living candidate is no other person than Tony Nwoye.
And for the governorship candidate, Tony Nwoye, if given a chance, all the challenges confronting the state will be attended to.
If I become governor, I will help to agitate the federal government, all the relevant agencies for them to create the balance and its full local government.
From Ihiala to the All Saints Cathedral Field, Onitsha, the flag of the campaign of the Progressive People Alliance, PPA, is happening. Party members trooped to support their candidate, Godwin Ezima. While the national chairman of the party extols the youth-friendliness of their candidate, the governorship candidate signs a social contract with the people of the state to deliver responsible, responsive and quality leadership.
I am presenting a manifesto which has the framework called SHAPE: security, health, agriculture, power, education, empowerment, and the environment to the people of Anambra State.
With all the political parties enjoying massive followership, November the 18th will decide who finally gets the seat.
When the news at 10 returns, Nigeria's purchasing managers index sustains expansion in the manufacturing sector for the 7th consecutive month, surges to 64.8 in October. That's all business news. Join us again.